My beloved son, do not be discouraged when people do not receive you. Remember, even my son, Jesus, was not always welcomed. Yet, he continued to walk in love, humility, and truth. Rejection by others does not define your worth. I have created you with purpose and intention, and my love for you is unchanging. When you face closed doors or hardened hearts, know that I am working all things for your good. Trust in my timing and my plans, for they are higher than yours. Keep your heart tender, and do not let rejection sow seeds of bitterness. Instead, let it draw you closer to me, for I will always be your refuge and strength. Lift your eyes to me and find peace, for I am with you, guiding you with my unfailing love. Go forward boldly, knowing that you are deeply loved and chosen by me. Even when others turn away, I will never leave you nor forsake you. My plans for you are filled with hope and a future, and nothing can separate you from my love. When people don't receive you, do not let your heart be troubled. Remember, the world did not receive my son either. He came to his own, and his own did not accept him. Yet, this rejection did not define him or diminish his mission. In the same way, you are not defined by how others perceive or treat you. You are defined by my love, my purpose for your life, and the identity I have given you as my child. You are precious to me, crafted in my image, and I have placed within you gifts and abilities unique to you. Not everyone will understand your heart, your calling, or the path I've set before you, and that's okay. I have not called you to be accepted by all but to be faithful to me. When you walk according to my will, you are fulfilling a purpose far greater than human approval. Do not let rejection take root in your soul or turn you away from the love I have for you. It may sting, and it may leave you questioning, but turn to me in those moments. I understand the pain of rejection better than anyone. I, too, have been denied, misunderstood, and cast aside, yet my love for you and for all creation never wavered. If people refuse to listen, shake the dust off your feet and move forward in peace. Their rejection is not yours to carry, leave it in my hands. Keep your eyes fixed on me, and trust that I will open doors no man can shut. For every no you face, I have a yes waiting at the right time. Trust in my timing, for I see the bigger picture and know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future. My son, remember, you are never alone. I am with you in the silence of rejection and in the triumph of acceptance. When people turn their backs, I remain by your side. When words hurt you, I whisper my truth over you. When you feel abandoned, my arms are open to hold you. I am your strength when you feel weak, your shield when you feel vulnerable, and your rock when the ground beneath you feels shaky. Do not grow weary in doing good, even when it feels unseen or unappreciated. You plant seeds that I will water and grow in my perfect time. Your obedience matters more than applause, and your faithfulness speaks louder than recognition. Keep sowing kindness, speaking truth, and walking humbly with me. Above all, guard your heart. Do not let bitterness, anger, or doubt take hold. Forgive those who reject you, even if they do not ask for forgiveness. Release them to me, for I am the one who softens hearts and brings understanding. Pray for them, just as my son prayed for those who crucified him. This is how you shine my light in the darkness. You are my beloved, and nothing can separate you from my love. I delight in you, and I rejoice over you with singing. Trust me, lean on me, and find your peace in me. There is no rejection in this world that can ever diminish the love and purpose I have for you. Walk boldly in this truth, for I have called you, equipped you, and sent you to do great things for my glory. My precious son, when you feel the sting of rejection, I want you to remember something very important. You are mine. I created you in love, with care and intention, and I have set you apart for a purpose. The world may not always see your value, and people may fail to recognize the beauty of what I've placed within you, but their rejection does not diminish your worth. Their opinions cannot change who you are in me. Even before you were born, I knew the path you would walk. I knew the moments when people would misunderstand you, push you away, or refuse to embrace the gifts and message you carry. But, my son, I have never intended for you to live by their approval. I called you to live for me, to walk in the identity I have given you, and to trust in my plans, even when the world seems to turn its back. Look to my Son, Jesus, your Savior and the perfect example of love and perseverance. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, familiar with suffering. Yet, he did not let rejection stop him. He continued to love, to heal, and to teach, even when he was met with hostility and unbelief. Why? Because he knew he was doing my will, and that was enough. In the same way, my son, when you walk according to my purpose, you are fulfilling a mission greater than human approval. Rejection is not the end of your story, it is a chapter in your growth. Sometimes, I allow rejection to strengthen you, to refine your faith, and to teach you to rely on me. When people turn away, turn toward me. When they don't listen, let my voice guide you. When you feel overlooked, remember that I see you. I see your heart, your efforts, your faithfulness, and your struggles. Nothing about you is hidden from me, and I am proud of you for staying true to the calling I've placed on your life. Do not carry the burden of rejection with you. Lay it at my feet. If someone does not receive you, it does not mean you have failed. Even my disciples, filled with the Holy Spirit, were sometimes rejected. When this happens, shake the dust off your feet and move forward. I will guide you to the people and places where you are meant to be. Trust that every no has a purpose and every closed door leads you closer to the doors I have opened just for you. My son, guard your heart in these moments. It is easy to let bitterness, anger, or despair take root, but those things are not from me. Instead, choose to forgive, even when it's hard. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrong done to you, it's about freeing your heart to remain tender and open to my love. Pray for those who reject you, just as Jesus prayed for those who crucified him. This is how you keep my light shining in your heart. Rejection is not always a reflection of you. Sometimes, it reflects the struggles or blindness of others. Some hearts are not ready to receive the truth, the love, or the gifts you bring. That is not for you to fix, that is my work. Your task is to remain faithful, to walk in humility, and to trust me with the outcome. Keep planting seeds, even if you don't see the harvest right away. I am the Lord of the harvest, and I will bring fruit in my perfect timing. Remember, my son, I am with you always. When people turn their backs, I remain by your side. When words wound you, my word heals. When you feel lonely, I surround you with my presence. You are never abandoned, never forsaken, never alone. Let my love be your anchor and my promises your foundation. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, chosen and loved beyond measure. I have plans for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. No rejection can derail what I have ordained for your life. Trust in my timing, for I work all things together for the good of those who love me. So stand tall, my son. Lift your eyes to me when you feel weighed down by the opinions of others. Let their rejection propel you closer to me. Let it remind you that your true acceptance, value, and purpose come from me alone. You are my masterpiece, and I am not finished with you yet. Go forward with courage. Love boldly, even when it's not returned. Speak truth, even when it's not received. Serve faithfully, even when it's not noticed. Your reward is with me, and I will never fail to honor your obedience and devotion. You are my beloved child, and I delight in you. Let this truth fill your heart and sustain you through every trial. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. My precious son. When the pain of rejection feels overwhelming, remember this: you are not alone, and you are never forgotten. I see you. I know the ache in your heart and the questions that rise when others fail to receive you. But let me speak life into your soul, for I am the one who created you, the one who called you, and the one who will sustain you through every season, even in the face of rejection. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, crafted by my own hands. Before I laid the foundations of the earth, I thought of you. I wove you together in your mother's womb with great care, giving you a purpose that no one else can fulfill. Your value is not determined by the approval of people but by my love for you, a love that is eternal, unshakable, and unconditional. When others do not receive you, remember my Son, Jesus. He came to save, to heal, and to bring hope, yet he was despised and rejected by many. His message of love was often misunderstood, his acts of compassion were met with scorn. Yet he remained steadfast, fulfilling the mission I gave him. The rejection of men could not hinder the purpose I had for him, and it cannot hinder the purpose I have for you. I am using every rejection for your good. What you see as a setback is often my redirection. When doors close, I am guiding you to the ones I have opened. When people turn away, I am teaching you to lean on me. Rejection can feel like a wound, but in my hands, it becomes a tool to shape you into the person I've called you to be. Trust me, my son. I am working in ways you cannot yet see. Do not be discouraged by the opinions of others. Their acceptance or rejection does not define the work I am doing in you. Some will not understand your journey because they cannot see the full picture. Some will turn away because their hearts are not ready to receive what you carry. But do not let this discourage you. Keep your heart tender and your spirit obedient to my will. Your job is to sow the seeds, the growth is up to me. Rejection is not the end, it is often a new beginning. Think of Moses, whom I called to lead my people, yet he was rejected by Pharaoh time and time again. Think of Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers but eventually rose to a position of great influence. Think of David, overlooked as a shepherd boy yet chosen to be king. And most of all, think of my son, who endured the cross and its shame, only to rise in victory. Each of these faced rejection, yet I used it to fulfill my greater plan. I will do the same for you. Let rejection draw you closer to me. Bring your hurts to me, for I am your refuge and strength. Do not let bitterness take root in your heart. Instead, let my love fill you, heal you, and empower you to forgive. Forgiveness is not about excusing the hurt but about freeing your soul to remain soft and open to my work. Pray for those who reject you, for they too are my children, and I am working in their lives just as I am working in yours. Do not be afraid to keep moving forward. When one door closes, it is because I have prepared another. I am leading you on a path that is higher than your understanding. Trust in my timing and my plans, for they are good. When you face rejection, remember it is not your final destination. It is merely a stepping stone toward the future I have for you, a future filled with hope, promise, and purpose. My son, remember who you are and whose you are. You are my child, chosen and dearly loved. You are an heir to my kingdom and a light to this world. Even when others reject you, I will never turn away. Even when their words wound you, my word will heal. Even when their actions disappoint you, my promises will sustain you. Let my love be your anchor and my truth be your guide. Stand firm in the identity I have given you, for nothing and no one can take it away. When the storms of rejection come, know that I am your shelter. When you feel weary, I will give you rest. When you feel lost, I will direct your steps. My son, do not stop loving, even when love is not returned. Do not stop speaking truth, even when it is not received. Do not stop serving, even when it is not appreciated. Your faithfulness matters to me more than human applause. Your obedience brings me joy, and your perseverance honors me. Keep walking in love, for love never fails. Lift your eyes to me, for I am your greatest reward. The rejection of this world is temporary, but the acceptance I have given you is eternal. You are written in the palms of my hands, and nothing can separate you from my love. Let this truth fill your heart and give you peace. You are my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. You are not forgotten, not overlooked, not abandoned. You are my masterpiece, and I am not finished with you yet. So walk forward with courage, knowing I am with you always, even to the end of the age. My beloved Son, when people do not receive you, when they turn away or reject what you bring, I want you to remember this first and foremost: you are mine. You are not defined by their acceptance or rejection. You are defined by my love, which is constant, unchanging, and eternal. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I called you by name and set you apart for a unique purpose. You are not here by accident, and your value is not determined by the opinions of others. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, crafted by my hands for a reason. You are loved beyond measure, cherished beyond words, and held close to my heart at all times. Rejection may hurt, but it will not harm my plans for you. I know the sting of being dismissed, ignored, or misunderstood. My Son, Jesus, experienced it, too. He came into the world I created, and yet many did not recognize him. He came to his own people, and they rejected him. The words of love he spoke were often met with scorn. The miracles he performed were dismissed or doubted. And yet, he pressed on because his mission was not about gaining human approval, it was about fulfilling my will. My Son, when others do not receive you, it does not mean you have failed. Their rejection is not your burden to carry. The seeds you plant in obedience to me will not return void. Even if they are not received now, trust that I am working behind the scenes, preparing hearts, and using your efforts in ways you cannot yet see. Rejection is often a sign that you are walking the narrow path. Following me will not always make you popular or understood. In fact, it may set you apart, and that can feel lonely at times. But I have not called you to blend in, I have called you to stand out as a light in the darkness. Let your light shine brightly, even when it is not welcomed, because it is in those moments that you reflect my glory most powerfully. When rejection comes, run to me. I am your refuge, your strong tower, your safe place. Pour out your heart to me, and I will comfort you. Let me remind you of your worth and restore your strength. I am near to the brokenhearted and close to those who are crushed in spirit. You do not need to carry the weight of rejection on your own, I am here to carry it with you. Rejection is never wasted in my hands. What feels like a loss to you is often part of my greater plan. When one door closes, I am preparing another to open. When people turn away, I am redirecting you to those who will receive you. I use all things for good for those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Trust in my timing and my perspective, for I see the end from the beginning. Consider my servants in Scripture who faced rejection. Joseph was rejected by his brothers and sold into slavery, yet I used that rejection to position him to save a nation. Moses was rejected by Pharaoh and even doubted by his own people, yet I used him to deliver Israel from bondage. David was overlooked by his family and hunted by Saul, yet I raised him up to be a king after my own heart. And my Son, Jesus, endured the ultimate rejection on the cross, yet through it, he brought salvation to the world. If I could redeem their rejection, my Son, I can redeem yours. Guard your heart, my child. Rejection can lead to bitterness, anger, or self-doubt if you allow it to take root. But I have called you to forgive, to let go, and to trust me. Forgive those who hurt you, even if they never ask for forgiveness. Release the pain to me, for I am the one who heals hearts and restores joy. Keep your heart soft and open, for a hardened heart cannot reflect my love. Pray for those who reject you. It may feel difficult, but it is one of the most powerful acts of love you can offer. Remember, my Son prayed for those who crucified him, asking me to forgive them because they did not understand what they were doing. When you pray for others, you align your heart with mine and allow my grace to flow through you. Do not stop doing what I have called you to do. Continue to love, even when love is not returned. Continue to speak truth, even when it is not received. Continue to serve, even when your efforts go unnoticed. Your faithfulness is not in vain. I see every act of obedience, every step of faith, and every moment of perseverance. Your reward is with me, and it is far greater than anything this world could offer. I am with you in every moment. When people walk away, I remain. When they close their hearts, mine is wide open. When they refuse to listen, I hear every word you speak. You are never alone, for I will never leave you nor forsake you. I am your constant companion, your faithful father, and your greatest advocate. Remember, my son, rejection is temporary, but my love is eternal. The opinions of others may change, but my plans for you are firm and unchanging. What I have spoken over your life will come to pass. No rejection can cancel my promises, and no setback can derail my purpose. So take heart, my child. Stand firm in your identity as my beloved son. Walk boldly in the calling I have given you. Keep your eyes fixed on me, and do not let the rejection of others discourage you. Let it push you closer to me, where you will find strength, peace, and the assurance that you are deeply loved. You are my masterpiece, created for good works that I prepared in advance for you to do. You are my light in this world, my ambassador, and my treasured possession. Nothing and no one can take that away from you. I delight in you, my son. I rejoice over you with singing. You are never forgotten, never overlooked, and never abandoned. You are mine, and I am with you, always and forever. My beloved son, I see you. I see the ache in your heart when others turn away, the questions that rise in your mind when you feel dismissed or misunderstood. I know the weight of rejection, and I know how deeply it can wound. But my child, hear me clearly, you are mine. You are not defined by the approval or rejection of others but by the eternal truth that I created you, chose you, and love you with a love that has no end.